What 3 words would you use to describe your opponent?
Dead man walking.
Idiot. The only things that spring to mind is idiot. For all 3, to be honest, personally. Like, I can't really dress it up any other way.
What 3 words would you use to describe yourself?
To describe myself, where do we begin? Hardworking, dedicated, resilient.
Man on a mission.
What do you make of your opponent's career so far?
He's done everything that's been asked of him. He's undefeated. You know, he's got youth on his side, but he hasn't fought anybody of note. He hasn't been in there with a lion. He hasn't dedicated his life to this sport like I have, and he has cheated.
Listen, I respect any father's sons who go on to try to achieve greatness, because I understand how hard that is. First, obviously, we have that in common. But as far as what I think of his career, he's done very well for him financially in terms of legacy. Not the career route I would have chosen.
What's your biggest motivation going into this fight?
Exposing the lies, making sure that every kid watching on 26th of April knows that if you cheat, if you try and cut corners, you will get exposed, you will get punished, you will get embarrassed, you will lose all the respect, all the dignity, all the pride that you had will be stripped away from you.
To go in there and just do what I know I can do, which is knock him out.
What did you make of his last fight?
I didn't make much of his last fight, to be honest. I mean, was it that impressive? No. Was it an accurate clinical performance? No. I didn't really take anything away from his performance, to be honest. But I respect him for coming back from the Liam Smith fight and having the rematch. I respect that.
He won. He won on a points decision. Wasn't impressed. It is what it is.
It's been a long time coming. How long has this fight been on your mind?
2.5, 3 years. It's a fight that, you know, I trained, I prepared for, I cut the weight for the first time around. The scandal happened, he got caught doing the drugs. Eddie Hearn tried to cover it all up, get him off the hook. Now he's back on the scene. All this has happened over a period of 2.5 years, and the fight has always been on my mind, or at least in the back of my mind for that entire time. Obviously, I've had multiple fights since then, and I've always been focused on that. But in my mind, I always knew that at some point down the line, we would meet again. And it's crazy to think that in a couple of days, it finally happens.
I mean, it's been fortunately and unfortunately, because this fight seems to be the fight that's never gone away or goes away. I think many people can feel that way about it. I feel like my career's on hold for this fight. You know, so I'm really looking forward to putting this to bed. There were 3 names mentioned in the welterweight division. Jose Ramirez, Josh Taylor, and Kell Brook were the names. And Abel Ramos. 4 names are mentioned. None of them fights materialised. So out of banter, I've gone, alright then, give me Eubank Jr. That's how it started. Out of banter. He's gone, it was banter. It was a joke. It weren't a thing. I was on my way to winning that welterweight world title. What, for me to then get sidetracked to fight at middleweight? It was a banner. But if you couldn't make them other fights because promotional contracts with their promoters or whatever it was, the fights couldn't get made. I said, alright, cool, just give me a big fight. And here we are, like 4 years later from that conversation.
How does this fight and this rivalry compare to the rivalry of your fathers?
I think it matches. I think it has the potential to surpass, in fact. If we both go out there and do what we say we're going to do, then it's going to be Fight of the Year contender. And it could make for an even more exciting fight than what my father and Nigel Benn had in their first fight. For the fans, that's what we are hoping for.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely more intriguing in terms of the weight, the rehydration, the age gap. I mean, it's more intriguing. There's different levels to it. Obviously, my dad and senior were, middleweight, super middleweight world champions. So it's more intriguing. I mean, I don't think it's been done in history before where you've had two legends or two boxers, world champion sons, similar age gap, similar personalities, come to head.
Do you believe you can go on to be a world champion?
Do I?
I've got to ask it.
I'm half offended that you felt like you had to ask that, because you know the answer. It shouldn't even be a question. Do I believe I can win the world title? After I knock Eubank out, I will win the WBC world title this year. I will be WBC world champion this year.
Absolutely.
Who's had the better career so far?
Me, of course. I'm proven. I've won IBO world titles. I've faced world champions. I've beaten former world champions. I've fought in 2 different weight classes, and I've fought great fighters consistently. Conor hasn't done any of that.
Without doubt, Eubank has fought bare opposition. Without doubt. But he's lost every single time he's stepped up. Point 1. Point 2. He's finished. I'm just getting started. That's it. What he's done, his career is what he's done. He's fighting a welterweight at the end of his career. That sums him up. Turned down Canelo, turned down Janibek, turned down Shiraz to fight who? A welterweight.
What does the Eubank Benn legacy mean to you?
It's one of those things that it doesn't matter where you go in the world, it doesn't matter who you're around, it doesn't matter what you're doing. You always want to uphold the family name. You always want to be respected. You always want to do your name justice. Do your family proud. That's always been my whole thing throughout my entire life, my entire career. And now I'm in a position where, the ultimate kind of respect can be paid to the legacy of the Eubank name in beating a Benn. So this is an extremely important fight for me.
The Benn Eubank legacy means it's bloodline. It is bloodline. Because this fight wouldn't be what it is if the rivalry wasn't so big between our dads. But ultimately, the personalities are the same.
What's the biggest weakness that you see in Chris's game?
The biggest weakness I see in Chris is his arrogance, is his stubbornness. The beginning of wisdom is humbleness and humility. The way you learn is humility. That's how you learn. It's inevitable. That's what you have to have. You have to have humility to learn and grow. No fight is bigger than the gym. Nobody. My trainer tells me what to do. 10 push-ups, no problem. Go for a run at 3 a.m. How long? Do you understand? That's how I am run. That's why you look at my team. Every single one of my team has been with me from day dot. I mean, he's had more trainers than I've had a cup of teas. Do you know what I mean? So that sums him up as a person, as an individual. That ain't me as a man.
His mind. He is weak-minded. Only a weak-minded man would use performance-enhancing drugs to prepare for a fight.
Who's the better fighter and why?
I'm the better fighter because of what I've done, who I've beaten, how I've beaten them. And the dedication, you know, the hours that I've been put in since I was 14 years old. You can't compare the two careers. You can't compare the two lifetimes. You know, I've been in boxing for a lifetime. He can't be a better boxer than me.
If we're both at 147, smash him to pieces. Since I'm jumping up 2 weight divisions, you still smash him.
Who does a loss hurt more?
A loss hurts me, definitely, for sure. From an ego perspective, from a pride perspective, from a personal perspective. I'm undefeated. You think I can let that man be my first loss? No way. Imagine. Oh, that's the first one as well. No chance. Can't handle that.
I'm going to say me and he's going to say him. It's, you know, depending on what camp you are is dependent on the answer. But for me, obviously, this is a fight that I cannot lose. It would be devastating. It would be crushing to lose to this man. So the pressure is absolutely on.
Who plays the mind games more, you or Conor?
I don't play mind games. I just speak my truth. I expose the lies. I shine light on the things that people try and keep in the dark. If that's mind games, then that's mind games. But to me, that's just being truthful. That's just being who I am.
Chris definitely tries to play mind games. You think he's smart, but he's got the lowest level IQ person I've ever met.
What happens on the night, April 26th?
April 26th, I come out. What, in detail?
Yeah, why not?
Detail, give it to you in detail. I come out, hot skip, couple hot skips, maybe little bob and weave, and then a little round over the top. Good night, Chris. I'll give him my pajamas. Probably tuck him in nicely.
You're going to witness one of the best fights in the last decade in British boxing. The procedure will be parliamentary.